Yo guys, what's up? Welcome to Post to Post. If you're new, my name is Neil. I'm joined here by my friend Jason. If you're a subscriber of the channel, you would have saw us last weekend. We filmed 2 videos, and I have to say a big thank you to you guys because they did really well as far as engagement, comments, suggestions, just everything. The comment section was great. I loved hearing from you guys. The main question was, hey, is the podcast coming back? No. we would love to do that, but there's just too much time, too much work that goes into prepping for those videos, editing those videos, releasing those videos on multiple platforms, YouTube and Podbean. It's just too much. The other thing is we have a specific day to play board games, and that's Friday nights, and we don't want to ruin that. Okay, that's kind of our time or whatever. So we've kind of transferred that time from work into fun. Not that the podcast wasn't fun, but anyways, I just wanted to preface this video with that and say, because of the it was so well received.
Don't lose it.
I'm not gonna. We want to continue. Okay, we want to continue like a little mini videos, basically. So we want to do it maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, and we want to answer your questions. So basically, it's like a Q&A. We always want to talk about what you guys are asking or what you guys are suggesting. It's your video. You pick the topics. We don't. We just talk about it. We don't know what to call it though.
That's right. So if you have any ideas of what this series could be called, put them in the comments. And it has to be short, like nothing real long.
Exactly.
Because we need the name of the series and then the name of the topic.
Exactly. And maybe we can do multiple topics in a video, but yada, yada, yada. There was a series called Fan Friday, but now I release Jersey Concepts on Friday, and I can't change that now. So leave your suggestions of the name down below in the comment section. But I just want to make this quick little snippet at the beginning of this video because we plan on doing this a little bit more regularly. So leave your suggestions down below of the name and future topics. Now, to the topic of this video, I've hinted at what we're going to talk about. I've sent you the comment.
Yep. And
can you read it? This is going to be what our conversation is based around today.
So shout out Justin Wilms. This is basically your Genesis project. This comment is why we're going to start doing these things.
Exactly. Yep. It was a great question.
All right. So this comment starts off with "it is." I read it as "is it."
Agreed.
So technically 2 different ways of asking a different question, but I'm going to go with "is it." So is it acceptable for a fan to jump ship to another team, which is the clickbait title of the subject, for fans of the Senders and the Coyotes? If the team moves, are those fans obligated to cheer for the new team that moved?
Yeah, it's a great question because it's not something that could plausibly happen in the future. You know, what if? This has already happened. So I think to answer the question, we kind of need to go back in time a little bit and look at some of the teams that have moved.
This is like 2 questions in one.
I want to start this entire thing out with a complicated hypothetical thing because I offered you 2 in the last conversation I think we had, and there was comments about it and people liked it. So here's a hypothetical for you. Okay. You live in Atlanta. The Atlanta Flames come. Whoa. NHL hockey in Atlanta. I love hockey. Now the Atlanta has a team called the Atlanta Flames.
Where'd they come from?
Doesn't matter.
Are they a transfer or a new team?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They're a brand new team. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Boom. I'm an Atlanta Flames fan. Okay. Man, I love hockey. Things are going great. Oh, crap. We moved to Calgary. Now Atlanta doesn't have a team. Hypothetical number 1. You don't care anymore. You watch hockey because you like hockey. You're not a fan of anything. You're just whatever. Or you become a Calgary Flames fan because we know that's your team. They're not Atlanta, but that's your team now. You got to follow them to Calgary, okay? That's great. Now you become a Calgary Flames fan, okay? And you're a Calgary Flames fan from 1980 until the early 2000s or late 90s, and then the Thrashers get a team. Oh, crap. There's another NHL team in Atlanta. I've just been cheering for the Calgary Flames for 20-some years. Do I continue to cheer for the Calgary Flames, or now do I cheer for the Atlanta Thrashers? Okay, I'll cheer for the Atlanta Thrashers because, you know, I live in Atlanta. Atlanta's my city. Atlanta Thrashers. Okay, I'm a Thrashers fan. 15 years go by. Oh, crap, we moved to Winnipeg. Do you become a Winnipeg Jets fan? Or do you go back to being a Calgary Flames fan?
This is the biggest hypothetical ever.
Or do you, what do you do? I don't think there's a right answer. I don't think there's a wrong answer. But what do you do? What does the typical hockey fan do who lives in Atlanta?
I think if you live in a city that has a team, you're a fan of the team. Not
99%.
Not everybody is.
99%, I think you're right.
So I'm talking percentages.
Yes.
If the team moves, I don't think you're obligated at all to become a team of that fan, especially if they move 3 hours time zone difference.
Right. That's
Like I used to watch my games at 7. Now I have to watch them at 10.
yeah. I mean, if Montreal's my favorite team, if they move to LA hypothetically or somewhere in California, that means my 8 o'clock games now start at like 11 o'clock or whatever, or 7 to 11 or whatever it is. You think I'm really staying up until 11 and watching a 3-hour hockey game and going to bed at like 1:30 or 2 a.m.? Probably not.
Are they still your team though?
Probably not. Well, if it's Montreal, yes, but I don't know. Like I don't live in Montreal. I'm just a Montreal Canadiens fan. If I lived in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Scranton had a team and they moved, I don't know. I feel like I would feel obligated to be a Scranton. Maybe I'll just cheer for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins yeah, that's what they call, isn't it? In the HL or whatever it is.
I think the problem with us answering this is we're both fans of original 6 teams that are in no way, shape, or form ever going to move.
Yeah.
So it's hard to answer. Like I can't picture where would Boston go.
They won't go. Neither will Montreal.
I don't think anybody's going. This is hypothetical. So before you jump all over us in the comments,
yes,
we don't think anyone's going anywhere.
Just like we don't think Ottawa's going. We already talked about that in a 40-minute video.
Yes.
Okay. Last week. If you want to go see it, go check it out.
But they just read by the title of the video that, these guys,
Yeah.
even though whatever.
Yeah, one's wearing a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, and the other one has a Boston Bruins fan in his Twitter profile. They don't know anything.
Yeah, which I don't, which is fair, but still.
But then they watched the video and apologized.
Yeah.
Because they realized we were on their side. Anyway, I think you're right. Ottawa's not moving. Arizona's not moving it, so it doesn't really matter. But it has happened in the past. So what do you do in that situation? If you're a Nordiques fan, do you become an Avalanche fan?
I think you do in a way.
I think you do too.
Because
there's no wrong answer.
if you're a fan of a team and you all of a sudden don't have that team anymore, like you're a fan of the players on that team. Obviously you like the players. Like I guess sometimes there's situations where your team really sucks.
Yeah.
And you don't care about the team, but they're your team and you're just waiting for them to get better again. But I don't know how you go from cheering from a team for X amount of years and then all of a sudden they're gone. And it's like, oh, pick a new one. There's 31 teams for you to pick from or whatever. You're probably going to, it's like, oh, I've been watching Toronto. I'm a little interested in that now. You're probably not. You're probably sticking with your team.
I agree.
But are you obligated to? Heck no.
I don't think so. Because anyone who cares that much about how other people care about teams or cheer for teams.
See, that's the first part of the question. We're talking about the bandwagon.
Yeah, has way too much time in their hands. But I'm in a weird situation because I get comments like that all the time. Remember how I was just telling you about the locker room video that's doing really well recently? There's been a ton of comments on that because in the video at the beginning, the entire video I'm wearing a Nashville Predators jersey. But when Montreal comes up, I usually call out in ranking videos and stuff, hey, Montreal's my favorite team because there's so many new viewers. And I always get the question, what's your favorite team? So I like to call it out when Montreal comes up. And there's been some comments. Oh yeah, look at someone called me a pigeon today. Look at this pigeon wearing a Nashville jersey, but he's a Canadiens fan. So I'm in a weird position because I do that out of respect for all the fans that are watching from all the different teams. I collect jerseys. I like to show off and try and be respectful and spread the love.
That's right.
Visually.
All things hockey.
Yeah. So I'm in a weird position to kind of answer this question because on the other side of the coin, if I go back 6 years, I'm a pretty hardcore, dedicated Montreal Canadiens fan. A little bit of San Jose on the side. But now since I started on YouTube, and you could probably say the same thing, I think we've both watched way more than just our favorite teams.
Yep.
We have new appreciation for other teams, specific players on teams, specific players on teams that we actually don't like.
That's right.
Like I've said, I think recently, I think I like more players individually on the Boston Bruins than I do my own Montreal Canadiens. And I
don't think that's the normal, though.
That is not the normal.
Most people are regionalized.
Absolutely.
Their team.
Absolutely. And I'm just I think we're in a very fortunate position. Our eyes have been opened unintentionally over the last 5 years.
It's less stressful this way.
100% less stressful.
Way less stressful.
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine caring why or why not someone should love or not love a team.
Okay, let's
Just
get to the first
want.
part of the question then.
So is it okay for the bandwagon?
Is it okay to bandwagon? What's our opinion on people who bandwagon? When we had our Discord up and running, man, people crapped on people that were bandwagoners.
Oh, big time.
Okay, so what's your opinion on bandwagoners?
I have not necessarily a problem. I just find it, I guess, socially interesting that there are certain people, and we've had some in the Discord, we've seen some on Twitter, who constantly cheer for the best team or the team that goes the furthest or whatever. There is a lot of that. Like, I'm not going to name any names, but there was one person on the Discord who was, I think, a St. Louis Blues fan, It was hardcore into St. Louis when they went to the finals. Tampa Bay when they went deep. Vegas Golden Knights when they went deep. Like just all the big powerhouse teams in the last like 5 years. That was they were all in their top 5 somehow. I just find that socially interesting. I can only speak though from my opinion. I love to cheer for underdogs. So I will bandwagon. Totally admit I bandwagon. But it's like an opposite bandwagon. I go the other direction. If there's like Nashville, when they snuck into the playoffs and they played Chicago in the first round, Chicago coming off like 3 cups, they're looking pretty good, and Nashville rolls in, coming in pretty good into the playoffs. They had a really good end of their season. I'm like, oh man, I'm all in for Nashville. I was bandwagoning hard for the underdog, not for Chicago. I love to see teams who have never won before or not won in a long time. That's who I bandwagon for. So I would, almost regrettably admit that I am a bandwagoner, but not in the sense that most people see bandwagoning.
I have no issues with bandwagon.
I agree. Like ultimately, I don't care.
Even if you're going for the best, why does it matter?
As long as you're watching hockey,
you're a sports fan.
Any hockey fan, if you're watching hockey,
who is not going to want more people cheering for their team?
That's true.
Who cares what your deal is?
Yeah,
you go to a game or you're watching a game and you're cheering on, right on, man.
No, but people get like.
I know they do, but why?
Some people even think if you like, there's people in Boston. I don't know why I'm choosing Boston, but you're wearing a Dallas hat.
Boston fans are.
Every fan base can be toxic, but we'll say Boston Bruins fan lives in Boston, has lived in Boston all his life, and he hears someone who lives in St. Louis is a Boston fan. You're not a Boston fan. You're not from Boston. You're not a Bruins fan. You're not from Boston.
I think that's so stupid.
It is stupid, but you see it all the time. All the time. But people, like, it's almost like they're trying to make themselves feel better for insulting someone else because they're not as big as a fan as they are.
Yeah. Like I've been doing this longer than you.
Exactly.
I have more cred.
Exactly.
Okay, sure. Where do you cash in that cred?
Yeah. It's like,
oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. It's like, whose line isn't anywhere? It's just all made up.
Yeah.
Like, you want to have more cred? Sure. Have more cred. I'm still a fan. This season.
They're the gatekeeper of all the fans.
That's
who
what
have
they're doing.
less
They're
cred.
gatekeeping. That's
Yes.
100% what the word is.
Absolutely.
It's so stupid. Now, I might get reamed in the comments over this because I think there's a pretty strong crowd that disagrees with me.
On what?
That are anti-bandwagoners. Like, oh, you're just a bandwagoner. There's a ton of people like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I cheered for this team for so long, and you're just cheering for them now because they're actually doing good now. Mm-hmm. That's no issue to me.
I find it, like I said, socially interesting, but I don't care. Like, it's not something I think about.
Why does anybody care?
Because they want to feel
hypothetically, better. Okay, go in the shoes of someone else.
Who?
That is the opposite opinion as me.
Who really
You
cares?
are going to defend the gatekeeping.
Okay.
Why do you not want these people cheering for your team?
Because when my team is bad next year or in 3 years and that person goes away,
what?
Their loyalty is completely meaningless. I'm going to be here when this team is crap. I'm going to be wearing this jersey. I'm going to be cheering for this team, and you're going to be off cheering for the new Vegas Golden Knights or whoever is the next,
But why does that matter?
Because I'm loyal. And I'm going to be here forever.
Well, that's good.
I bleed yellow.
That's
Boston
good.
Bruins yellow.
That's
gold.
good. But still, why does it matter?
It matters because I say it matters.
Is there internet points that you're earning somewhere?
I defend my city. I defend my team. I defend my fan base.
That's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's 100% what it is. I just don't like. I admire it in a way. Like, it's nice to be. I think it's better to have like a loyal, I don't know, fan base or team. Like, it's nice to see people stick with their team when they're rebuilding or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
But time is short.
Think about the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
11 years now it's been.
Shout
like
out
that.
Melody Martin.
Yeah.
Haven't heard from her for a while.
11 years of that. Not missing or always missing the playoffs. I think it's been like 11 years.
Can you blame someone from switching teams for a while they get their crap together?
I wouldn't blame them for watching another team or becoming a fan of another team. But their fan base is incredibly loyal.
Dude, they
like
got
massive shout out to the Sabres fans.
They got one of the best fan bases.
Like, it's unbelievable. It would have been so easy to bandwagon to another team, and they just don't.
Yeah,
like mad props.
That's the culture. That's the culture.
That's the culture.
Yeah.
That is the culture that you want to defend.
Yeah.
Get out of here. You don't deserve our culture. This is our culture. I was talking to a coworker. change the subject a little bit.
We tend to do this. In
Another
these videos.
situation. And we were talking about cheering for teams and stuff in the NHL, and he said that his brother isn't really a hockey fan that much. He doesn't really have a favorite team. So about like every 5 or 7 years, he picks a team at random, and then we'll watch them for the next 5 years or whatever. Currently, about 5 years ago, he picked the Minnesota Wild. They're not really doing much. But this year, like last year they did, and then this year they're looking pretty good.
You might want to flip after this year, though.
But he texts his brother, or whatever, the guy I work with, and he's like, "How about them Wild?" And he told me
it's just a team you picked at random.
Yeah, he told me that he texted back and he said, "Name their bottom 6." And he said, "I can't even name their second line." just I don't know. Yeah. He just watches just to watch. I guess.
That's good. You want more people watching the sport.
Exactly. So I really don't care at the end of the day who cheers for who. As long as you're watching hockey, let's be friends.
If you are following a crappy team, would you rather they stopped watching hockey altogether because the team's not worth watching? Or would you rather they go bandwagon somewhere and eventually they'll jump back onto their old team when they're better again?
The main reason I have no problem with people cheering for more than one team or having I like the San Jose Sharks, I like the Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado Avalanche, because I used to be a big Patrick Roy fan and stuff. The reason I have kind of multiple favorite teams, no one's ever going to go above Montreal, but some nights Montreal doesn't play. Some nights Montreal plays early. Maybe I pick a West team that plays on the off night.
Yep.
Have a couple teams going on. I'm the type of person, maybe not this year, but typically, I'm watching 2 games a night. I'm watching an early game, I'm watching a late game, or at least some of the late game. I'm watching a lot of hockey, so I don't always want to watch teams I don't really care about. There's going to be certain players and other teams that I'm interested in. Yeah, I'm going to gravitate towards some of those teams. I picked San Jose Sharks back in 2010 as my second favorite team because I love Patrick Marleau. I've always had a bit of a love for the Colorado Avalanche because of way back in 1996 when they won the Cup and Patrick Roy went there. And that's my history. Those are the teams that I've cheered for quite a bit. And I flopped too. The Rangers, could not care less about the Rangers up until 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when they come out mid-season and we're like, yeah, we're going to rebuild.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, this team just earned huge respect from me.
They got a lot of flack for that too.
They got a ton of flack, but I loved it. It was an amazing decision. Having a team come out and be that bold and that communicative to their fans, just be like, we've had enough of this. We're rebuilding and we're going to do it right. Look at them now. Seriously, they're second in the division as we're filming this. I think they're a couple points back of, I think it's Pittsburgh in first in the division. Amazing, because they did it right. They did the rebuild right. They brought the right guys in. They had management that they let go.
We got a goalie playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, and good goalie prospects as well. I don't know. It's moves like that, either from players on a team or organizationally, where I'm like, okay, that gains my respect.
It sparks an interest.
It sparks an interest.
I like what's going on there.
Carolina, new owner came in, did some things. Plus, they drafted really well. They started really growing as a franchise. Carolina's been an awesome team for the last 4 years. There's some other teams who are now kind of going through that transition. Chicago, one of my most disliked teams from almost my entire life.
Especially this year.
Well, they were just constantly winning. I just so sick of watching Chicago.
Yep.
And then they kind of sucked for 3 years.
Yep.
Haven't really watched much of them.
And they kind of sucked before that too. They were really bad for a long time.
Yeah, but now they're the underdog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I do like a lot of individual players in Chicago. I'm going to watch a little bit more Chicago. I think it's okay to have that wave where you don't mind checking out the odd team and stuff. And if one of those teams goes into the playoffs and they go deep and your team's not involved, maybe they're out or whatever, go for it. Watch that team.
Look at the East this year. There's going to be 5 good teams out right away.
Dude, that's a whole nother video.
And all of them went all in.
Yeah.
They all went in. They trade deadline, they're picking people up. They all think they can win right away. 4 teams are going home.
And that's not including the Islanders who should be there.
My team could be gone.
Yep.
X team could be gone. You basically need a backup plan.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, the East is pretty crazy this year. So.
And another thing about bandwagoners and eyes, like I said, was getting back to my point where I said, would you rather people watch their team or nobody? The more teams you have in the league, we're up to 32 now, that regionalizes the game even more. So when you had 6 teams, You had this giant area that was Boston Bruins fans. This giant area that was Detroit Red Wings fans. Now there's 32 all over the place. So instead of you a great area being fan of one team, it's shrunk. Right?
Exactly.
Now you've also opened new markets that probably weren't watching hockey before. But
Definitely.
it's really regionalized right now. So if you just have fans that only watch their team, there's less eyeballs in the product, which means, less revenue, less lower salary caps. It's beneficial to the league for people to watch teams other than their own as well.
I would encourage anyone.
So I have no problems with bandwagoners for that reason.
Yeah, I would encourage bandwagoning from that perspective. But
I do get the defending your turf and I've been here long, but it's just like it's like street cred. Like, okay, but like I said, where are you going to cash that cred in at? Like, sure,
I'm kind of glad you brought up the regional aspect because it made me think of the Hartford Whalers and the Boston Bruins. Pretty close geographically.
Mm-hmm.
Hartford Whalers went away, became the Carolina Hurricanes. If you're a Boston Bruins fan, and now, there's probably a couple of Whalers fans down the street now they don't have a team anymore. They probably don't want to become Hurricanes fans just because, they're not really close to the Hurricanes. Do they become Boston fans? Are they going to be allowed to become Boston fans? Technically, they're in that region now. Mm-hmm. So,
but they would have been like a rival before too.
They would have been a rival. Yeah, they
so
would have been a
rival.
rival.
It's awkward too, right? Like
it is awkward. But I love that happened a lot. Whalers fans became Boston Bruins fans because of the regional aspect.
Like, what would happen if the Nordiques came back? Would Montreal lose a sizable chunk of its fan base?
I would say not sizable. They would lose a percentage for sure, but they would also gain all those dormant fans.
Do you think there's fans of that team that aren't watching Montreal right now?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. I think there's fans of the Nordiques who haven't watched hockey in 30 years.
Since they've been gone.
Yep.
That's bold.
Or 25 years or whatever.
Those are the real gatekeepers.
Yeah, exactly. The ones who have the OG jerseys, all the original merch. Yep. Definitely that is happening because they hate the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, they probably watch Colorado for a little bit, but are they going to be watching Colorado this entire time? Some of them, sure. Mm-hmm. But I bet you a lot of them just probably stopped really caring that much.
I bet you a lot of them went with them at first, and then if you had a graph, probably it's just...
Especially because they won the cup right after they went there. But yeah, the graph.
I mean, you're in a different time zone. You're not local. It's all different having a team in your city.
It's tough to watch games, too, from that perspective because back then, you didn't have the internet to log on to watch any game you wanted to. You got to watch your local game or whatever was on the national.
What if you don't have a local game? That's what I'm getting at with the gatekeeping. Like, if you live, I don't know, someplace that's not even close, like
Salt Lake City.
Like you could say us because we're 8 hours away from the closest NHL rink, but we're also like way off to the side.
Yeah,
where it's either Montreal or Boston.
Yeah.
So, but if you were just like in the middle, just
Salt Lake City.
Go into Montana and just bam, just put a pin down somewhere.
Okay.
What's wrong with that guy in Montana picking 3 teams that he decides to play with, and then someone's doing better and he decides to switch one of them?
I've ironically had that question a lot, not from people from Montana, but from Europe. They're like, I want to get into hockey. I really follow the EIHL over here, whatever it's called. I like the NHL. I haven't really watched that much. Can you suggest a couple of teams that I could cheer for or whatever? I'm like,
you're going to point them at a good team. Why would you point them at a bad team? That's a good point.
I have not pointed them at.
If you have someone from Europe, this is a perfect example. Someone in a different continent that has no, whatever you want to call it, horse in the race. Mm-hmm. If you want them to like the product, you're going to point them at a good team.
No, I disagree.
You're going to point them at a bad team.
I give them 3 options.
Buffalo Sabres?
No, I give them a good team, a good city, and a team that has really good development and is probably going to become a good team.
Define good team. Like a top team or just like a good team?
A consistently good team. Like recently, Carolina, the Islanders have been pretty good other than this year. Washington, Pittsburgh. Like a team that's consistently like probably make you happy most days of the week.
Like Tampa.
Probably not Tampa because that's would be considered super bandwagon because they've just won 2 cups.
I would give them the super bandwagon.
No, I want them to have a consistent like team, and then a good city. Like regardless if Calgary's doing good or not, I love Calgary. Calgary's a great city. Cheer for Calgary. Or I know Vegas is a cool city. Cheer for Vegas. Mm-hmm. And then a team that's up and coming, like the Rangers before this year. The Rangers are doing some cool things. Carolina's doing some cool things.
Go back a few podcast years. We talked about Carolina going to be a good team in a couple years. Here we are.
Totally. Absolutely.
Here we are.
It's good to have those options and have reasoning behind those options. Once you understand the reasoning behind the options.
But you're not going to point them at like a Detroit or a Montreal right now or a Buffalo or an Arizona. Like
last year or the year before, I would
these
point
people-
no one to Detroit.
These people
This
are
year, maybe.
watching, if they're watching live, an extreme time zone difference. They are staying up mega late.
That's a tough decision.
Like we're talking 5, 6 hours, 7 hours ahead of
4
us.
hours. London's 4 hours.
So let's go even further than that. Say we're going to Finland. Shout out Mika.
I think he's 5.
I think he's 5 or more.
I'm pretty sure he's 5.
5 from us.
Yeah.
So 6 from Eastern.
6
so
from Eastern.
7 o'clock puck drop, 1 o'clock in the morning for him.
7 o'clock. Okay. So 11 o'clock games would be 9 a.m.
No, 11 o'clock games would be 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Do you get up
So
early or do you stay up late?
Or what happens if you get a 9 to 5 job? So either way, if you are going to have that dedication where you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, I don't know.
you are not going to do that to go watch the Detroit Red Wings or Arizona or Buffalo. You have to be watching someone that's in the top quarter of the league, I would say.
Anyone in Europe, regardless of how the teams are doing, who is dedicating their time to watch NHL hockey
There are lots of them.
are stand-up gentlemen and ladies.
Yes.
Because I don't think I could do that.
They're better than us.
I mean, I might be able to.
No, you could. You wouldn't. Neither would I.
I would not watch the full game.
You would not.
I wouldn't sit down and watch full
If
game. I'd watch the highlights.
Montreal's going to Finland. They're going to have one of those overseas games that count,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like they're going to play Vancouver because Vancouver always seems to go over
Are
there.
we talking just one game?
They're probably going to play 3.
I'll watch them.
But it's at 5 in the morning. Are you going to get up at 5 in the morning to watch
I
the
would.
game? Oh, I would
If it's
not.
only 3, yeah. But an entire season?
On a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I would.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't.
But 5 years ago, I'd say no. But I'm only saying yes now because my body sometimes wakes up at like 5:30 or 6.
Dude, mine does too, and I hate it.
I wake up before my alarm.
I
like,
know. Dude, mine just started
What?
doing that like a couple weeks ago, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's an interesting topic, though. I mean, we kind of went off topic as we usually do.
Not really. We were all encompassing.
All encompassing.
We hit every angle. We even took 4 takes to get the intro done right.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. If you are from Europe, there's going to be, I think, a little hesitation. I don't want to choose, like, I really like Tampa. I like their colors. I like their jersey. I like a lot of their players. But I don't want to be called a bandwagoner just because they're won 2 cups recently. I guess I got to choose another team. Like, should bandwagoning opinions affect
I think
future fans' decisions?
I think
of who-
bandwagoning is irrelevant. I say, who cares if you're a bandwagoner?
Yeah, I
Like,
cheer for who you want.
I don't know if I always felt that way or not. I probably didn't.
I didn't.
But now I'm just like, whatever. If you're enjoying it and you're a fan of the sport and you're more eyeballs, heck yeah.
I always find it interesting to see hockey fans fight and bicker and stuff online because if you look at all the major sports, NFL is the biggest, MLB, NBA, like even the soccer, that's bigger than hockey.
Soccer's
Hockey
bigger
is
than
just
everything.
such a small fan base in relation to everything else. I just feel like, guys, get along. Like,
Yeah.
we need you.
Yeah.
Just be friends kind of thing. But there's no avoiding fights. And bandwagon is a heated topic, especially around playoffs.
So overall, you're okay with bandwagoning.
Yeah, why not? I don't care.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, sure. Watch hockey. I don't care who you cheer for.
Exactly.
Watch hockey, whatever team you want. Let's have a conversation
Now,
about
Neil made a pretty good argument for gatekeepers.
it. Mhm.
If you have a different one in the comments, be respectful, but leave it. I'm interested to see why you would not want someone coming to your team who was cheering for another team previously.
Yeah, and I think that's a
Like,
really...
and chances are, this isn't always true, it's a more casual hockey fan. Maybe they don't watch every game.
Yeah.
Chances are, if you're a hardcore Philadelphia Flyers fan, you're probably not bandwagoning that hard. You're probably just cheering for another team.
That's right.
Your heart's not going to that team. You're just, hey, I like these guys now.
Yeah. You're
But
right.
in reality, Philly's still my team.
Mm.
Like, I got a whole bunch of backup plans for when Boston goes out in the first round.
I don't want to hear them because maybe that's a good conversation for the future.
It doesn't mean that I'm not a Boston fan anymore, but I'm not going to lose interest in the playoffs as soon as Boston goes out, or if Boston goes out.
I mean, you are wearing a Dallas Stars hat.
I love this hat. Thanks, bro.
I think you made a good call out there to the comment section because really that's kind of the entire point of any conversation we've ever had on this channel. We've disagreed on lots of things, but if you can convey your opinion in a respectful and calm
Don't just
manner,
tell us why we're wrong and why we're idiots.
I'm not even talking about towards us, but towards other people or whatever in the comment section.
Mhm.
Like, if you can convey your opinion in a respectful manner, people are going to look at that, and even if they disagree, they won't probably be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Like, they'll probably respond in the same fashion. But if you start your comment and be a dick, you're probably going to get a lot of dick responses.
You give it, you get it.
You get it. Exactly.
That's just how it goes.
That's just how she goes. But
Speaking of comments, we're ready to wrap this up.
yeah, speaking comments.
We need ideas of other things to talk about. We have another one planned.
Yes, we do.
We'll film that after this, which will come out who knows when. But leave comments for other things that we can talk about. We don't really know. And we need a name for the series too.
Yeah, we need a
Something
name.
short, like Fan Friday, Subscriber Sunday, something like that, but not that.
And it doesn't even have to be day specific.
No,
That's just
it'd be better if it wasn't date specific, really.
And
Like from the comments or whatever. Like I don't even know. We're not creative enough to.
yeah.
Go ahead. If you can think of the name, you get mad props. You see the title and all the name of the videos.
Exactly. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. We can't really come up with anything that we love. There's another something that we're working on that we can't even literally. I cannot tell you any details of it right now. But we had to do with thinking about a name for something, and we talked about it for 3 hours. We had to outsource it. Yeah, we had options, and yeah. Anyways, that's you'll know about that in a couple months or whatever down the road. But yeah, I would appreciate your feedback down below. Thank you for watching. It really means a lot. This is obviously a bit longer video than we wanted, but that is like literally a rule book, or that's.
I don't know how long this video is because we had so many bloopers at the start of this.
I think it's about 30 minutes long.
Okay, and we're at 42, so that tells you how many bloopers we've had.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, would love to hear from you. What's your thoughts on the topic? And like I said, just try and be respectful. Even if you completely disagree and think that I'm wrong, think that Jason's wrong. As long as you're respectful in the comments, man, bring it on. I love having hockey conversations like this. This is the bread and butter of really the entire channel's intention from almost day one of the original Post to Post channel, whether it was conversations with Justin, Dad, or Jason, like genuine conversations like this. That's what I love.
This is what original YouTube was made for, way back in the day.
Definitely. So I appreciate your time, Jason, coming over. That means a lot. Looking forward to our next conversation. Hope you guys are as well. And if you're new, please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you made it to this far in the video and you're not subscribed, what are you doing with your life? Like, hit the subscribe button and catch our next conversation. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button as well. That helps. Once again, Jason, thank you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.